In the meeting that just ended in the last hour, Kipchumba Murkomen has been replaced by KANU's Samuel Pogisio as majority leader in the Senate. Muranga Senator Irungu Kangata will also replace Susan Kihika as the majority chief whip. The president invoked his powers as the Jubilee party leader that allows him to summon the meeting just a day after details of a Jubilee-KANU coalition deal emerged. The meeting at State House proposed the changes targeted to edge out Deputy President William Ruto's allies from the Senate leadership. Meanwhile, Wiper Democratic Movement leader Kalonzo Musyoka now says his party is also working on a post-election coalition agreement with the ruling Jubilee Party and the Kenya National African Union, KANU. All right, let's now speak to Mark Bichachi, communications consultant and political affairs commentator. Mark, many thanks for your time on Bottomline Africa. Serious realignments we are seeing clearly ahead of the 2022 elections. Give us your reaction to this, considering that the country still is in the middle of battling the COVID-19 pandemic.
In fact, it is precisely because the country is in the middle of the pandemic that made it necessary for the government to ensure that it has a good voice within parliament. Let's remember that the immediate former leader of majority was acting as though he is actively opposed to the government. Now, for one government to work cohesively and to deliver on its mandate, it needs its issues on the floor of both Senate and Parliament to be presented by people who believe in the said government. So this is definitely a step in the right direction as far as Jubilee is concerned. But the omens for the Tanga wing of Jubilee is quite bad. And I'll tell you this because, number one, their mystery of having the numbers within Senate has been blown out of the water, because clearly Jubilee itself has on the Kieleweke side a lot of senators, and on top of that, it has now gotten a shot in the arm by being joined by KANU senators. And let's not forget that because of the handshake, Kieleweke has the support of ODM, making it a supermajority in Senate.
The Jubilee Party itself has not convened a parliamentary group meeting since the 2017 general elections. This coming now, of course, in the middle of a conflict over control of the Jubilee Party between the president and his deputy. What's the way forward now, considering that those who have been edged out are termed to be critics of the president?
Well, the only way forward now is for the Tanga wing to choose which side they are going to go. Either they remain in Jubilee and try to fight it out, and now that the myth of their numbers has been busted and the president has flexed his muscles, then clearly they do not have numbers. I am very sure now the only objective solution they have is to figure out how they're going to exit the party. Now, that is a question of two things. It's a question of timing and it's a question of tact. The timing is they need to do it as close to 2022, or else they risk losing their positions in Senate and in Parliament. And second, it's a question of tact. How do you do it in such a way that you win the affections of the Kenyan people while you do so?
It was expected that a full parliamentary group meeting bringing together senators and members of the National Assembly would be convened. Could it be possible that the president then cast his eye on the Senate, because it is the Senate that has been more rebellious and more outspoken in the last 3 years or so?
Well, I don't think it's a matter of him choosing just the Senate. I think it is because it was tactfully the right thing to do, and it was easier to do than to try and get all over 100 MPs together, given the corona times. But believe you me, I think that the bell is ringing quite loudly for the country to hear. Because let's remember, Tanga resisted the changes to the National Management Committee of Jubilee. But unfortunately, those changes went on without them. Now they resisted the changes to Senate, and it has been shown they do not have the numbers to stop the president from doing the changes that he wants. So clearly, this is a game that Uhuru Kenyatta is playing. I do not think he's going to stop just with Senate. I think he's going to do more changes, and I think more of his critics are going to be edged out, rightfully so, from the positions of power they hold.
All right, many thanks. That is Mark Bichachi. He's a communications consultant and a political affairs commentator in the country. Let's now speak to KTN News' Jeff Kirui. He has been following up on that meeting. Jeff, good afternoon. The changes to the House leadership have been confirmed. What is the way forward now?
Well, very good afternoon, Michelle. And indeed, there is a communication from State House from that is the spokesperson, Kanzedena, stating that the new changes within the Senate is Majority Leader will, of course, be Samuel Pogisio, that is West Pokot County Senator, and Majority Whip will be Senator Irungu Kangata, Deputy Majority Leader Senator Fatma Dulo, Isiolo County Senator, and Deputy Majority Whip Senator Faria Ali Haji will be the Deputy Minority Chief Whip. And of course, Kanzedena has as well confirmed that President Uhuru Kenyatta actually chaired that parliamentary group meeting, Senate parliamentary group meeting, and he has congratulated all those who have been elected to those specific positions in the Senate. And of course, right now, as it stands, those who are allied to the Deputy President, William Ruto, did not attend that meeting, including the Deputy President himself, who actually tweeted that currently what the government should be focusing on is the issue about the COVID-19 pandemic, as well as the floods in the country. Of course, they didn't attend that meeting, but he will be waiting to see exactly what will be the reaction of some of the members from his side. Those are the senators as well as the National Assembly. And of course, some of the members who have actually spoken about this have disputed the numbers which, or the numbers of senators who attended that particular meeting. From State House, it is stated that 20 senators attended the meeting, with others are sending their apologies. And of course, they have also listed the number of senators, or rather those senators who did not attend that meeting, including Kipchumba Murkomen himself, Kericho Senator Aaron Cheruiyot, Senator Meru, Mithika Linturi, Susan Kihika, Nakuru Senator. Those are just some of the senators who did not attend that particular meeting. We'll be waiting to know exactly what is the way forward for those two who have actually been removed from their position. But remember, those positions come with their advantages. Now that Senator Murkomen has been removed from that office, as well as Senator Susan Kihika, it means they're going to lose their official offices in the Senate, as well as their government vehicles and the perks that comes with such offices. And as well, we're waiting to see whether this purge will be heading to the National Assembly. Remember that a section of leaders, or rather House leaders within the National Assembly, are allied to the Deputy President. And of course, there have been talk about Majority Leader Aden Duale. There have been talk about Chief Whip Ben Washali Mumias East. We'll be waiting to see exactly whether this purge will be headed to the House leadership, that is the majority, the Whip. And now don't forget about the committee, departmental committees, which are as well headed by some of those members who are perceived to be allies of the Deputy President, including the Transport Committee chaired by David Kosing. We know the Budget Committee chaired by Kikuyu Member of Parliament Kimani Ichung'wah. Those are just some of the committees which are chaired, critical committees which are chaired by members allied to the Deputy President. Michelle.
Jeff, before I let you go, let's talk about the signing of the coalition deal between KANU and Jubilee. Definitely shoring up President Uhuru Kenyatta's numbers in both houses at a time when there is increasing Cold War, clearly, between him and his deputy, William Ruto. But will this deal do any magic politically, considering these two parties have been working together anyway without a formal agreement?
Well, if anything has to go by the numbers which we've witnessed today, remember that there are 3 senators from the KANU, which is the chairman, KANU chairman Gideon Moi, Senator Baringo. We have the West Pokot senator, which is Samuel Pogisio, as well as nominated Senator Alaka Abushiro. Those are just some of the numbers which KANU brings on board, not considering that it also has a number of members of parliament in the national, or rather a number of members in the National Assembly. So there are numbers. This is a game of numbers. As they say, politics is a game of numbers. And now, Wiper is actually declaring an intention to form a post-election pact with Jubilee party as well. So that will be bringing numbers more to the President Uhuru Kenyatta's side, as opposed to those in the Deputy President William Ruto's side. So as it stands now, Michelle, it's all gloves out, and now the Deputy President and President Uhuru Kenyatta are now appears to be pulling in different directions. It was in question earlier on, but from the part that is happening now, it's now more than clear that the relationship between the two is slowly going south.
All right, many thanks. Jeff Kirui continues to follow up on this developing story for us. It is not the only realignment in the country. However, the Raila Odinga-led Orange Democratic Movement is this week expected to replace now rebel Narok Senator Ledama Olekina as chair of the County Public Accounts and Investments Committee. The election set for Thursday this week follows days of fierce wrangling within and outside the powerful Senate Watchdog Committee that has opened yet another political battlefront between Raila Odinga and Deputy President William Ruto's allies in the Senate. Our political affairs reporter Murimi Mwangi gives a perspective on this battle for control of the committee and now explains why Ledama Olekina's wars are not new to ODM. All right, let's take that again. The Raila Odinga-led Orange Democratic Movement is this week expected to replace now rebel Narok Senator Ledama Olekina as the chair of the County Public Accounts and Investments Committee. The election set for Thursday this week follows days of fierce wrangling within and outside the powerful Senate Watchdog Committee that opened yet another political battlefront between Raila Odinga and Deputy President William Ruto's allies in the Senate. Let's listen to that report by Murimi Mwangi.
Like two astute poker gamers sizing up each other's mastery of wit, shrewdness and strategy, former Prime Minister Raila Odinga and Deputy President William Ruto's allies at the Senate have in the past few days waged a high-stakes political duel in the battle for control of the powerful County Public Accounts and Investments Committee, in the process denting the political career of a parliamentary first-timer, ODM elected Narok Senator Ledama Olekina, whose fate even as mayor member, leave alone chair of the powerful committee,